On June 12th, 2026, the biggest IPO in human history hit the Nasdaq, SpaceX, ticker SPCX. It priced at $135 a share, popped 19% on its first day, and blew past a $1.77 trillion valuation, racing toward 2 trillion. And every headline said the same three things: rockets, Starlink, Mars. But if you actually read the filing, all 900 pages of it, there is a far stranger story buried inside. The most valuable space company on Earth just quietly became something else entirely: a landlord. And its two biggest tenants, the exact AI labs trying to crush its own artificial intelligence. This is not a rocket story. It is the weirdest AI story of the year, and almost nobody is telling it. Here is what most people think they are buying when they buy this stock: rockets and Starlink. And Starlink is very real. It pulled in $11.4 billion in 2025, 61% of all revenue, and it is the only part of the entire company that actually turns a profit. But there is a third thing inside this stock that the headlines skip right past. In February 2026, SpaceX quietly acquired XAI, Elon's artificial intelligence company, the one that makes Grok. So when you buy SPCX, you are not just buying rockets, you are buying Grok. You are buying X, the social network, and you are buying one of the largest AI supercomputers on the planet. The SEC noticed too. They do not even classify SpaceX as an aerospace company anymore. On the filing, it is listed under computer programming and data processing. Let that sink in. On paper, the rocket company is now a software company. And here is where it gets uncomfortable. That AI empire was supposed to be the crown jewel. Instead, it became the bleeding wound. In 2025 alone, the AI segment lost $6.4 billion. In just the first 3 months of 2026, it lost another $2.5 billion. Gone. They poured $12.7 billion into AI hardware in 2025, then another $7.7 billion in a single quarter. To build what exactly? Colossus, a monster supercomputer with over 200,000 Nvidia chips, built for one job: to train Grok into a ChatGPT killer. Except Grok did not kill anything. Reportedly, its app downloads collapsed from around 20 million a month down to roughly 8 million in a single quarter. Outages, falling usage, losing badly to Claude, to Gemini, to ChatGPT. So now Elon had a $20 billion machine, and the AI it was built for was a flop. Most companies would quietly write it off. Elon did something almost nobody saw coming. He turned the failure into real estate. Instead of letting $20 billion of idle GPUs rot in a data center in Memphis, SpaceX did something almost unheard of in this industry. It rented its supercomputer out to its direct competitors. And the filing says it in the driest language imaginable. Quote, "This structure allows us to monetize unused compute capacity." Read that again slowly. The AI lab that lost the AI race turned around and started charging the winners rent. And the checks those winners are writing are absolutely staggering. Tenant number one: Anthropic, the makers of Claude. Now stop and really appreciate this for a second. Claude is arguably the model that beat Grok, the one developers actually switched to. And in May 2026, Anthropic agreed to pay SpaceX $1.25 billion. Not in total, per month, every single month through May 2029. That is roughly $15 billion a year, to rent the exact machines that were built to destroy Claude. The model that won the AI war is now training on the supercomputer of the AI that lost it. If a screenwriter pitched you that plot, you would call it too on the nose. But it is right there in the prospectus, in black and white. Anthropic needed compute. Elon needed a tenant. And the GPUs built for Grok found themselves a brand new master. Then came tenant number two, Google. In June, Alphabet signed on for $920 million a month, starting in October, running through the middle of 2029. Another $30 billion to power its own AI Gemini on Elon's hardware. So now do the math on who is actually paying the rent in this building. Two of the three labs that beat Grok, Anthropic, and Google are now SpaceX's biggest AI customers. The company could not win the AI race, so it started selling shovels to the people who did. And those shovels print money. Add the two leases together, and you get a number that is almost absurd. Roughly $26 billion a year in compute rent. Guaranteed, recurring, from two of the most cash rich companies on earth. To put that in perspective, SpaceX's entire revenue in 2025, rockets and Starlink and everything combined, was $18.7 billion. The rent from its two AI competitors is bigger than the entire rest of the company. So when you ask, what is really holding up a $2 trillion valuation? It is not the rockets. It is not even Grok. It is the rent checks. SpaceX failed at making AI and accidentally built one of the best AI businesses in the world, being the landlord. And this is the part Wall Street quietly loves. Before these deals, a $1.77 trillion valuation meant investors were paying about 95 times revenue. 95. That is the kind of number that ends careers. But layer in $26 billion of fresh recurring AI rent on top of Starlink, and that multiple drops to somewhere around 40 times forward revenue. Still expensive, but suddenly defensible. Now, fair warning, that forward number is an analyst estimate, not a promise written into the filing. But the logic is exactly why this IPO actually works. The compute landlord story is the load bearing wall holding up the entire $2 trillion building. But before you mortgage your house for SPCX, read the fine print, because I did. Both of these golden leases have a trapdoor built right in. Each one can be cancelled with just 90 days notice. 90 days. And remember exactly who these tenants are. Anthropic and Google are two of the most aggressive infrastructure builders alive. They are spending tens of billions to build their own data centers and design their own chips, which means this is not permanent income. It is bridge revenue. The landlord's best tenants are also the ones most likely to move out because they are literally constructing their own houses next door. SpaceX is renting to companies whose entire strategy is to never need a landlord again. That is the risk hiding quietly underneath the headline. So here is the real lesson, and it is much bigger than one stock. In the AI gold rush, everyone is obsessed with who has the best model. But SpaceX just showed you a completely different way to win. It lost the model war. Grok flopped. And it still turned that loss into one of the most valuable AI businesses on the planet. Simply by owning the building everyone else needs to rent. Compute is the new real estate. The picks and shovels beat the gold. The company that could not make a great AI made a fortune hosting everyone else's. Sometimes the winner of a gold rush is not the miner. It is the one who quietly owns the land. So the next time someone tells you the SpaceX IPO is a bet on rockets, you will know the real story. It is a bet on being the landlord of the AI economy, collecting rent from the very rivals who beat its own AI. That is the angle nobody put on a thumbnail. If this rewired how you read this IPO, do two things. Comment the word landlord, and I will send you the full breakdown. Every number, every deal, every catch. Straight from the filing in one clean PDF. Then follow for more. Bite size AI drops on Instagram. Deep dives like this one here on YouTube. The rockets get the headlines. But the rent is the real story.